All right, thank you so much for joining in. Good evening, everyone. Once again, please confirm if you can hear me. You can use your favorite emoji in the chat box. We're getting started already. Um, Kindly use your favorite emojis so I could be sure you can hear me clearly and to also show that you're excited about this session. Awesome, thank you, Miriam. So I think it's only Miriam that is on the call. Others, if you can hear me, please drop. Let's raise the energy in the room. If you can hear me, can you use your favorite emoji? Oh, great. Thanks. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you, Ismaila. Thank you, guys. Okay, great. So, welcome, and I'm really excited to have us on board. Others would join us as we progress. I'm going to be introducing myself. I'll be introducing the academy, and we're going to get started for today's session. So this workshop is going to run for 2 days. Today and tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a longer session compared to today. See today as a general introductory um, session where we would be looking at a couple of things. Also, if you can see my screen, if you can see my screen, kindly drop one. If you can see my screen, if you can see my screen, just type one in the chat box. Great, 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 great. Okay, so I'm going to share. Okay, so a little about myself. Um, I'm a passionate, and I intentionally use the word passionate data scientist. By the way, I'm Opeyemi Agbola, and I'm the founder of One Solutions. So for those who do not know One Solution is an umbrella organization that manages other organizations like the academy that is hosting this free workshop. Okay, so the academy is One Data Academy. It's a subsidiary of One Solutions. So yeah, just like I began by saying, I am a passionate data scientist and analyst with over just a little bit over a decade of hands-on experience, and I'm very committed to using data for creating real-world impact. Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm the founder of One Solutions. It's a visionary parent company behind One Data Academy and other mission-driven platforms on solving complex problems across industries. So I do not want to speak so much about myself, but then I'm very, very big on data and how it can better society. I'm going to walk you through the things we're going to be learning throughout this workshop. I like to always get feedback at every point in time as I teach. So again, permit me to ask one or two persons to unmute their mic and confirm if you can still hear me clearly. Any bold person, if you can still hear me clearly, unmute your mic.
Yes,
Awesome. Thanks, Omolade. Who else can hear me? Who else?
I can hear you.
I
Thank
can
you.
hear you, sir.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for the energy. Great. Okay, so let's get back to this. Um, so one of the things we're going to be looking at. So today's day one, and the first session would go on today. Tomorrow we have two sessions in one day. There will be a little bit of break in between though, because it's going to be a very long session. So today we'll be looking at what data analytics is. We'll look at the skills, the data skills, why data skills matter today. We'll be looking at the tools and the technologies that we use as data analysts or as data scientists, as the case may be. And then we'll look at career path in data. Generally, we we have two broad categories of people. Um, who want to venture into data for two distinct reasons. For some persons, they're already working professionals, either in finance, in whatever field you can think of, and they want to upskill, they want to, be able to enhance their skills in terms of data analysis. While there are others who want to consider data analytics as a career, okay, either to get a full-time role with an organization that needs data scientists or data analysts. By the way, technically every organization does need um, a data analyst, and or they want to freelance as data scientists. So basically, there are just two categories: those that want to upskill, and those that want to pursue it as a career, who want to make money um, freelancing and all of that. We're going to learn more about that tomorrow. So also today we would see a little bit of how Excel fits into um, data analytics and why this workshop is centered around learning Excel. Day two, we're going to be looking at earning opportunities with Excel. All right, and Excel is one of the most basic and fundamental data analytics tool that you should know. Excel for data analytics, actually, because there are many things you can use Excel for. They use Excel in the accounting world for different reasons, but then Excel for data analytics. We're going to be looking at, the remote work boom, how that remote work is a big deal now. We'll look at the common job roles for Excel users. We're going to look at top platforms to find gigs and jobs. We're going to explore those platforms. Okay, we're going to look at real life gig examples, how sometimes it can come as contract from whether a client or what have you. Then also how to build portfolio and how to pitch yourself to be able to get jobs or to be job ready. Then of course getting your first job, like the quick wins. All right. Our goal basically is just to see how this can be as quick as possible. Okay. Then the last session, which is also tomorrow, all right, we're going to be then looking at the practicals now. We're going to be looking at Excel interface and navigation, data entry and cleaning basics. We're going to be looking at sorting, filtering and basic formulas, sums, if, VLOOKUPs. We'll be creating dashboards and reports, and then a practical demo to solve a client-like task. And we're going to be looking at how that you can progress in your career as a data analyst and the typical kind of skills that is required for you to begin to earn as a freelancer. Okay. So yeah, so we are going to just jump right into today's training. If you have any question, please can you indicate? And if you are following generally, can we confirm if you can still hear me? Okay. Anyone wants to confirm if you can still hear me?
I can still hear you, sir.
All right. Thank you, MJO. Great, great. And I hope you saw my screen. Did you see my screen? Okay, great. Okay, questions before we proceed, or maybe I should ask questions, but not so much here yet. Maybe tomorrow is going to be a bit larger. So maybe I should ask, but because of our time, I would have asked each and every one of us why would like to be here. But let's do that in 1 minute. Um, don't be shy. Feel bold. You want to just tell us your name and um, why you want to learn data analytics or data analysis. Who is going first? Anybody? Trust me, if I can get 3%, it'll be
Hello,
good to
sir.
go. Hi, Uche Miriam. Hello,
Good evening,
please.
sir.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. The reason why I want to learn this course is to enhance my skill. Because where I work, I think we do more of Excel. So I think with this, it will also help me to fit in
Amazing.
what we do. Yes.
Amazing. Thanks, Miriam. Thanks for sharing this. And I hope that at the end of the day, you're going to be grounded and also, enhance your skill. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
sharing. Yeah.
Thank you,
Next,
sir.
you're welcome. Next person. Who is going next? I have very shy people on the webinar today. People on our webinars are usually very vocal, which should not fall my hand. Who is going next before I start calling them? Okay, I just want you to feel free to, share why, you really want to do this. Um, okay, don't worry. Don't let your ass skip yet. I don't leave the call. I'm not going to call names. So maybe as we go on, you're going to find some confidence to do that. Okay, so we're just going to continue into it and let's see how far we're going to be going. Okay, so now, what is data analysis? Now, data analytics and data analysis, or let me say the word analytics and analysis, have often been used interchangeably and typically they actually refer to the same thing, actually. Analytics is more tech inclined because of the advent of and the growth and trend in technology. All right, and the way we approach data in more modern times um, is more sophisticated than the way it used to be. All right. And so do not be confused when you hear analytics or when you hear analysis. We are pretty much referring to the same thing. Okay. So data analysis or data analytics involves examining, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to extract valuable insights, to support decision making, and to solve problems. Now, this definition is loaded as simple as it is, and throughout today, we're going to pretty much be analyzing this definition because that's what we do as data analysts. So, the first thing that should come to mind in order for you to become a data analyst is that you're going to be working with data. Some people call it data. Okay. And data are raw facts that have not been processed, but then they have potentials of providing powerful insights that we can use to solve problems. It could be real life problems, it could be business problems, it could be national problems of a country. All right. And so as data analysts, we work with data. So in your career, throughout your career, what you'll be interfacing with would be data. All right. And they can come in various forms. All right. And usually we like to collect data to solve specific or to address specific issues. And those issues that we want to address determines the kind of data that we actually collect. So like I mentioned, we examine data after we've collected it. All right, we clean it. So data cleaning is very key, which you'll be learning how to do tomorrow with Excel in order to minimize or control or to ensure that your data is not compromised. You cannot perform any analysis on the data if it is unclean. We're going to learn tomorrow about what it meant for us to have a dirty data. Almost every data you interact with as a data analyst at the start is usually messy and usually dirty. Okay, so we are going to learn about things like duplicates, how to deal with duplicates, how to deal with missing values, how to trim, how to concatenate in order to ensure that we join texts together as we want it and all of that. All of these are very important in our data analysis pipeline. We're going to be learning about data analysis pipeline today. It's just the process or the series of events that has to take place in order for you to execute the project. So data cleaning, then we transform our data. All right, we do things like what we call EDA, exploratory data analysis, to have a general understanding of the data and to also transform it into forms that makes it easy for us to analyze. Then we do other things like modeling, the data. And at the end of the day, why we do all of this is to be able to extract valuable insights. Sometimes data analysts are referred to as prophets because we are able to make predictions based on the available data. All right. Sometimes we make predictions about sales in the future using available data. For example, that kind of data is called time series data collected successively over time, and then we're able to make projections, we're able to make informed decision or give advice based on evidence, based on facts, based on empirical evidence. Able to give advice to clients and stakeholders, as the case may be, concerning what to do next. All right. So it supports. So in data analysis, we support decision making, just like I mentioned earlier. It helps, business owners, executives, what have you, to be able to make more informed decisions. And then data analysis seeks to solve problems, and that's the goal. And that, for me, that's what makes it really interesting, because we want to solve problems. All right, so I've dwelt so long here, and I'm just going to run to the next thing. So why is it important? Now, in today's world, where we collect vast amount of data, for every likes, for every share, for every comment on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what have you, vast amount of data is collected every day. And the people that will thrive, the businesses that will thrive, the sector and what have you that is going to thrive, will thrive on how much of data they're able to harness. Okay, so because of the vast amount of data that we generate as human beings, as humans in this current century and age and day that we find ourselves in, data has become a very vital essential. In fact, data is referred to as the oil of the 21st century. Data analysts are sought after because data, people who are able to maximize their data, are the ones who win in business, in academia, what have you. So in today's data-driven world, data analysis is crucial for success. And that's why it's important, to learn data analysis. It enables organizations to gain valuable insights, as I've stressed earlier. Also to reduce risks, very key. And for those people who are already working in whatever sector it might be, and you're looking to upskill, this training is going to pretty much give you a solid understanding of how to minimize, mitigate, or eliminate risks. Then also improve efficiency and understand customer behavior, especially if you are dealing with, practically every business actually has customer base, and they want to understand how their customers behave so that they will know how to target, their sales, their advertisement and what have you. Then this, it results in more effective strategies. So in a nutshell, data analysis is very, very important, and because it is important, data analysts are very important. Now, what are the types of data analysis that we have? Now, we have four basic types of data analysis, and everything you'll be doing as a data analyst will revolve around these four things. These four things, everything. All right. Of course, when you start practicing, you begin to see how each of these things becomes broader and increases in scope. All right. Now, the first thing, okay, let me get my feedback before I continue. You know, I'm a teacher and I like to get feedback. So I'm coming back to you again. Please confirm if you're following and if it's making sense to you. You can just drop one in the chat box. One. Okay. Awesome. 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 Thanks for the energy. Let me get two more. Let me get two more. Okay, thank you. One more. All right, so let's continue. So I mentioned that we have four types of data analysis. The first is descriptive data analysis. In descriptive data analysis, as a data analyst, you want to investigate, so what happened? What happened? Okay, a typical example I like to give often is, imagine you applied for a side gig to a company who is looking for a data analyst, and then you applied and the client says, okay, this is a challenge. No, so we need you to come on board as the data analyst. We're having problems with sales. This is our data. It could be social media data, it could be whatever. And then the first question most times you want to investigate is, okay, so what happened? All right. What happened is a question of using the existing data to understand the current situation of things. Okay. Now, in descriptive analysis, you could do things like, basic descriptions like checking for averages, like average sales. Okay, you could also check sales for the past 3 years. You need to ask questions. Okay, so this is 2025. In 2022, they recorded sales that was very high, but then it began to decline in 2023. It even declined more in 2024. And 2025 is even worse. So what happened? You begin to ask that question. Oh, so in what are those variables that were in place in 2022 that made sales to be high, but are not currently available in the last 2, 3 years that has then affected sales? Oh, you people paid for adverts. Okay, so but then you stopped your advertisement this past 2 years. That could be a reason. Now, as a data analyst, you're beginning to glean insight from the data. But at this level, this level of analysis is simply descriptive data analysis because you're only perusing to know, okay, so what even happened? All right, based on the available data. So it is in places like this we try to generate frequency distribution tables. We try to get things like mean, median, mode. All right, maybe they have different product lines, and there's one that sells the most. That's mode. That's most occurring, or the median sales, and all of those things, they fall within descriptive statistics where you use charts and graphs just to like pie charts, bar charts, depending on the kind of data, just to understand the current situation of things. Now, another type of analysis is what we call diagnostic analysis, and it is why did it happen? Why did it happen? Now, I mentioned this in between as I was talking about descriptive analysis. All right. While descriptive analysis is going to say, okay, this is what has happened this past 4 years, sales has declined. You can even use a chart to depict that. When you now get to diagnostic analysis, then you begin to inquire, okay, what happened here? All right. It could be a farming product. Okay. What really happened here? Is it the season? Is it that people did not want to purchase this product because so and so happened? All right. And that's why as a data analyst, data analysts are smart people. They're not just smart because they were born smart, but because they are curious mind. They read about things. Some of them get interested in weather forecast. They read the news. They try to get industry or what we call domain understanding. I don't use expertise because for you to work with a client, let's say a client reaches out to you and that client operates within the pharmaceutical. You need to have some basic understanding of the pharmaceutical industry for you to be able to effectively analyze their data and to be able to provide insight to them. All right. And that is why it is important to be vast, to be very curious. So in diagnostic, it's just the same way you go to, when you're not feeling so good, you're going to go to the hospital and the doctor is going to examine you, ask you questions. How do you feel? Oh, you feel like, okay, okay. And then would recommend some tests. So you're going to undergo diagnostic tests. The essence of the test is so that you can be diagnosed, actually. So as data analysts, we are like doctors, all right? But in our case, we are data doctors, not medical doctors. Okay. So apart from describing, we also diagnose why did that thing happen? What happened? So why did it happen? Why is your sale declining? Why? That's what we do in diagnostic. But then we don't just stop there. We also predict. There's something called predictive analysis. Predictive analysis is this is what will happen. As data analysts, just like I mentioned earlier, we're like prophets, and we tend to be able to, um, based on the available data, say, oh, this is what is likely going to happen in days to come. All right. Now, here we use the existing data, we analyze it, we look at the trend, and then we use some tools, all right, some statistical tools to make predictions. Now, someone has a statistic, don't let your heart skip. Many of us do not know statistics today because we've not had good teachers, all right? Statistics are very interesting and very engaging, especially for those of us that have adventurous minds because it's just so beautiful, okay? So it's part of the things you're going to be learning, all right? So we make predictions that, oh, this is what sales is likely going to look like for you in the next 3 years, all right? Forget the fact that I'm just using sales. As data analysts, you can work on academic projects, all right? You can work on um, different kinds of projects regardless of the industry that you are dealing with. Then lastly, is what should be done. Imagine you went to the doctor and the doctor recommends some tests. After you've done those tests and you've been diagnosed, the doctor says, oh, you can someone just unmuted and mic. Hi, Infinix at 11p. I'm going to mute you right now. Okay, no problem. Okay, so can we push on? Can I continue? Are we still following, please? Don't forget how we do it. Just type 1 if you can hear me. Okay, thank you. Infinix at 11, I just muted you again. You were muted. You were muted. Okay, thanks, guys. All right, so let's continue. Okay. So I was saying, so imagine the doctor recommends some test, and you did the test, and after you did the test, they found out that oh, you have salmonella typhi, that's typhoid fever, and it's quite high, and the doctor says, oh, you can go. Of course, it doesn't make any sense. So it's not over until the doctor prescribes. Okay, it could be medication, some treatment, right? So that's so as data analysts or as data doctors, we also prescribe what should be done. Okay, if you can be patient with yourself and you learn this thing well, you're going to be earning big because companies all around the world, and tomorrow we'll be looking at remote work, like the boom of remote work, freelancing, how it is a big deal. Working from home is a big deal now. There are people who quit their 9 to 5. I'm not advising that yet, but personally, I'm not the 9 to 5 kind of person. But there's nothing wrong with that. I've worked 9 to 5. So, but basically, the trend today is that businesses all around the world, they are looking for data analysts from things as basic as data entry specialists that will perform basic task or some repetitive task, using Excel. All right. So just to tie this, all of this analysis serves unique purposes and offers different insights. All right. But then we use them concurrently, we use them together. So don't forget the types of analysis we perform. Descriptive analysis, here we ask what happened. Diagnostic analysis, why it happened or why did it happen? Predictive analysis, so what will happen? And then prescriptive analysis, what should be done? Now let's look at the data analysis process. When you become a data analyst or as a data analyst, what's the protocol or the structure of your workflow when you work on project? You're not just haphazard working on project anyhow. As a professional, there is an algorithm or there is a step-by-step flow that should guide your thoughts as you work on project. Okay, now so the data analysis process includes defining objectives. When you get a client or you're working with stakeholders, all right, you need to understand when they say, okay, we're having problems in our manufacturing, or we're having problems in terms of customer satisfaction, we're experiencing decline in customer base, or anything their problem might be, you need to listen carefully and then ask, okay, so what is the objective of this project? Of course, you're going to work with them to refine the objective of the project, but it's very key for you to clearly know where you're going to from the beginning, because that is going to inform all your thoughts throughout the data analysis process. Then the next is to collect the kind of data you need. If, for example, a business says they want to know why their competitors are doing well than themselves, it could be social media data you would extract. For example, there's something called sentiment analysis where you want to, or called competitors analysis rather, all right, where you want to see their competitors, people that are doing the same kind of thing they are doing as a business, and see what they are doing that this business is not doing, that is then making those ones attract more customers. Or a business says they want to understand what their customers think about a particular product. Okay. Now, it could be from social media posts. It could just be a post on, oh, what do you think about this, our new product? And then there are like 6,000 comments on it. Some comments are positive, some are negative, while some are neutral. Now, there's something we then call sentiment analysis, where you as a data analyst, you scrape the data, all right? And then you begin to analyze it and then to check, okay, so do we have more positive sentiments than negative sentiments? What does it mean? What's the implication of the neutral sentiment and all of those things? Now, these things are the things that we do as data analysts, all right? So after we have a clear understanding of the problem and we set the objective or the goal for the project, we then collect the specific kind of data that we need. And this data can be from multiple sources. It can be from primary sources or secondary sources. As we progress, we begin to learn what these things really, really mean. All right. Now, like I've said earlier, if you're really patient and you really immerse yourself into this thing, you're going to learn it, you're going to know it, and you will know it very well, and you're going to be earning big. But apart from earning big, earning money big, you're going to be solving real problems. So after we collect data, the next thing we want to do is to clean the data. You can't analyze the data until you have cleaned the data. Data in their raw form, like I said, data are raw facts or raw information rather that have not been processed. Okay, in their raw unprocessed form, they are dirty. They are most times usually dirty. And as a data analyst, you must learn how to clean your data, look for where missing values are. Then analyzing and interpreting results. That's the next thing. We then analyze and interpret results. You will learn how to analyze data and how to also interpret results. Then that's not all. We also communicate our findings. Very important. And heart, you must learn as a data analyst is the heart of data storytelling. There's one of my books that is in a pipeline called The Heart of Data Storytelling. You need to learn how to be able to communicate your results, your findings to clients, to stakeholders. Okay, so generally when you follow a structured process, it ensures accuracy and the relevancy of your insights. So the pipeline is broken down better here. After stating objective, which I didn't mention here, the next thing then is to please just a moment. I need to confirm I'm still recording. Great. Okay. So after setting the objective, data collection, so gather data from multiple sources, either from databases. As you go on, you learn what databases are. So these databases are sometimes where businesses collect, it's like a back-end place where businesses collect their business data. For example, a retail store, let's say Just Right, all right, as people working daily, every transaction is stored somewhere, let's say in an Excel spreadsheet in a database, okay? Or it could be from surveys. So it could be that, now in the case of Just Try, let's say Just Try to employ you to analyze their data. Now, you want to understand something about their customer behavior. You just need to go to their database that already exists where they've collected data and query the data or extract it, and then whatever you need based on the objective of the project you're working on, the problem you want to address, you're then going to extract the data and then begin to analyze. But then sometimes the problem you want to address data might not readily be available. You might then need to conduct a survey yourself. It might be through the use of Google Forms, or SurveyMonkey, or what have you. You want to create a questionnaire or something that will target those people that you want to collect data from. And after collecting the data, you then analyze it. That's survey. Now, next thing is data cleaning. We handle things like missing values. You remove duplicates that you don't want. You standardize the data format like the dates, all right, like currency, all of those things. We do that in data cleaning, data transformation. We prepare and structure data for analysis. Like we do things like sorting, filtering, like grouping, and what have you. Then data analysis, we perform calculations. That's where we do things like descriptive analysis, like in median mode, uh, like standard deviation. We do other analysis for trends like regression analysis, multiple regression analysis, logistic regression modeling, survival analysis, depending on the kind of data or field you're working on, and then we derive insights. So usually to sorry, did someone say something? Someone was muted. Every time I'm off there, I'm unable to see the screen. Oh, yeah, you are not muted. I'm going to try to help you get muted. Looking for you. Okay. All right. So we're just going to continue. Okay, so when we analyze data, sometimes our data, the kind of statistics or values we generate can be ambiguous. All right. Another thing you will learn as a data analyst is to be able to explain very complex ideas in simple ways to layman or people that do not have as much expertise or understanding of data as you do. Okay. And so visualization comes in. And that's why tools like Tableau, ClickView, Power BI are very important to learn as data analyst because it helps you to be able to present your insights, through charts and dashboards or what we call reports in a way that is easily understandable by your target audience. Okay, here we use, charts, beautiful pictorial representations to depict what we are trying to communicate in a very simple way, and then they're able to relate to it. Of course, finally, we make decisions, and this helps for strategies and solutions. Okay, so I've explained data collection and preparation. So we just look at some of the key tools that we use. So we use Excel in data analysis. We use structured query language, SQL. We use Python and R. Then we also have visualization softwares like Tableau. As we progress as a data analyst, you learn about some of these tools and how important they are. All right. Um, yeah, as a beginner, it's good that you gain some level of mastery of Excel. When you want to take it a little bit higher, then you want to learn Excel, at least Power BI and SQL. Those three very important. But then when you want to then like really go full scale, then you want to ensure you know Excel, you want to know SQL, you want to know how to use Power BI or Tableau, you want to know how to use Python, right? You want to know how to use R and some other tools. All of these tools I mentioned, they are industry tools. We also have other tools that they are more tilted to academia, like R that I mentioned is more tilted to academia. But then we have other tools that are academic inclined, like SPSS. Um, it's used to be called statistical package for social sciences. We also have things like Starter, we have eViews, and the rest of them. Okay. Um, all right, so I'm just going to move clear from this. I've explained data visualization. So the common challenges we engage in as data analysts, and you begin to notice as you go on or as you kickstart this journey, is that um, there's the issue of data quality. All right, like I mentioned before. So while raw data can be very messy, there are times that the quality of data you even get might not be sufficient, might not be good enough to address the problem you are trying to solve. All right, so it's a challenge, and as a data analyst, you must prepare your mind for that and how to deal with it. So don't be discouraged when you face challenges like this. You must be able to improvise and devise strategies to deal with it. Also, incomplete data is a challenge you must prepare your mind for. Then bias. All right, you could conduct a survey and then you see very strong biases in your data, and you must be able to have ethical considerations in your mind and know how to manage biases. All right. So analysts must be very vigilant in addressing these challenges to ensure accurate and unbiased results. So I'm going to just talk a little about of um, the future of data analysis. So the future of data analysis is shaped by advancement in AI. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I mentioned some range of tools that you should learn if you really want to go into this fully. But as you progress, you'll see that data analysis and AI are beginning to infuse into themselves. And then data analysts are beginning to engage in things that are largely within the data science space, what we call machine learning, um, deep learning, and artificial neural networks. So all of those things are beginning to find their way into data analytics. All right, and there's something called big data. All right, so data analysis is a very lucrative field, and it has a lot of earning potential. And trust me, data analysts are sought after worldwide. All right, so I'm going to pause there for today. Today's session shouldn't last more than an hour. I want to leave room for question and answer. Then I'm going to reiterate what we're going to be learning tomorrow and how to prepare for this. So I need to open the floor for questions and answers. So it's your turn to talk to me. So if you're very shy, you may want to type into the chat box. All right, questions? The house is so cold. Our webinar guys are always very active and the energy is usually very high. Okay, so if you enjoyed this session so far, can you drop your favorite emoji in the chat box? Let's start from there. Or just react. You see something that says react. Okay, so Elizabeth Oga, I picked your question. I'm going to address it. But I want also send in our good. Please, drop your favorite emoji. I need to be sure that. Awesome, awesome, guys. Thanks, guys. Thank you, thank you. Awesome. Miriam, your favorite emoji is making me to laugh. That's nice. Okay, okay. So, all right, this is looking good. Okay, so Elizabeth Oga is asking, so as a data analyst, what are the challenges, to face? So I'll assume she's talking about some of the things we mentioned earlier, about some of the challenges you face. Now, those are technical challenges that you face on the job. Challenges around the quality of data, being able to mitigate incomplete data to, handle all of that. But the other challenges for a newbie, for some persons who have never interacted with data before, or who is scared of calculations and all that, because some persons will tell you now in the academy we have some students currently who, in fact, there's one person who studied English and has done, something that is in the arts and humanities all his life. But then he finds it interesting now, learning data analysis. He had always thought it's a math thing. Now, the dynamics of job, all right, in this century, in this modern time, as at today, has shifted from back then where, oh, if you're an accountant, you just stick to accountancy all the days of your life. Now, even if you're an accountant, you need to learn some tech skill in order for you to remain relevant. Apart from the fact that it's going to help you to upskill, it helps you to, in case you want to switch career easily, you're able to switch career, and it also increases your earning potential. That's what tech skill does. Okay, so major challenges, if you'd ask me, would be people who come from various backgrounds, and you know that some people are not from core science background. Okay, so you just need to be disciplined. You need to maintain an open mind and get a good teacher. Okay, don't worry, in the academy, we are very good at making these things very simple. And that's the beauty of this webinar. So the idea as tomorrow is you begin to see, you begin to do your first data analysis yourself. All right, and you'll be submitting the task. We'll be looking at the task, and it's also going to be a criteria for getting certified. I hope you know that you're going to be getting certification for attending this workshop at the end of the day. Okay, so I hope that helped. So Titilope Gbemisola is asking, do I join a bit late? Beautiful, thanks Gbemi for that. Catherine, so Catherine said you should hold SQL workshop too. Yeah, so our workshops is on a monthly basis, all right, and we like to give this as much quality as possible. We like to dish it out within the 2 days of the workshop, all right? But then we have more robust courses within the academy itself. We do not like to put people under duress, all right? But then basically, there's an opportunity for you to really upskill, and by taking some of these courses that is spread across weeks, and then you even get strong mentorship and follow up on how to build portfolio and a career around these things here. So yeah, we're going to do SQL one of these days, but for now, it's Excel. Okay, so yeah, so Abioye is asking, please can you specify core tools for data analysis? And okay, for data analyst, I think you meant to type, and data scientist. Yeah, great question. So as you go on as a data analyst, you begin to understand the sharp difference between data science and data analysis. While they are very interwoven, in fact, as a data scientist, you analyze data. Okay? There's still some distinction. All right. I don't want to delve so much into that. However, I'm going to talk about the tools that you need as a data analyst to get started, and it's okay. As a data analyst, you do not necessarily need to know programming tools like Python and R. It's not compulsory. You will do well, trust me. You need to have your Excel, SQL, very important because you'll be relating with databases. So Excel, SQL, and at least one visualization tool like Power BI or Tableau. Very important. Those three. You can't do without them. They're very, very germane. But you see, as a data scientist, apart from so if data scientists most times might not even necessarily use Excel most of the times. As a data scientist, I actually use Excel, but most times I just find myself using Python. For me, I just write some lines of code and it's usually faster and easier. So, but as a data scientist, you would need to know at least one programming language. All right, Python or R. Knowing the two, fantastic. Then SQL, very compulsory for you, and also visualization too, because you also visualize as a data scientist. Okay, yeah, other extended tools that you would learn about as you build as a data scientist, especially for those who want to venture into AI engineering, that's artificial intelligence, because that combines both data science and software development. Then you need to learn some other programming infrastructure. Okay, I hope that helps. So I hope I'm not taking too much time. So yeah. Next question, what is more important to focus on first, Excel, SQL, or Python? So get started with Excel. Okay, get started with Excel. Then as you build, you can then bring in SQL and maybe Tableau. For now, Python might not be priority, but then if you want to go full scale, all right, like we have some of those courses in our academy, if you want to go full scale, you can then say, okay, I want to take a robust course. That course would cut across each and every of these things at the same time, and it's still on meet based on your interest and what there are people that I personally, through mentorship and advice, just focus on becoming a data visualization specialist. Although they have some basic knowledge of Excel and even SQL, but then they are more invested in learning Power BI for visualization. By visualization, I mean, drawing beautiful charts. Sometimes you see in some reports, very amazing charts showing trend lines and all of that. Those things are built using tools like Power BI and Tableau. All right. Okay, so I believe I've been able to address the question. Do you have any other question before um, I tell us what we will be learning tomorrow? Any more questions? Questions for me? I'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, so let me wrap this up and then we're going to be back tomorrow. Now, the focus of this webinar is one to help you to introduce you to data analysis, what it is, which we've done today. And this recording will also be available on our YouTube page so that you can go back to it. Then secondly, we're going to be learning about remote work, freelancing as a remote worker, if you would like to, do that. Then thirdly, the practical session where we would jump on Excel and then we'll be building dashboard. And those other two would happen tomorrow. And there's going to be certificate of participation at the end of this workshop. You're going to be working on the data yourself and you'll be happy you've joined. You'll be analyzing your first kind of data, and then would like to certify people on the basis of completing that milestone. Then also you're going to be a part of a big community of data analysis enthusiasts who want to, learn and grow in data analysis. So those are the things that we're actually promising in this workshop. Tomorrow you need to eat well because it's going to be a long day. Beginning at 6 p.m., you can invite other persons to, excuse me, to be a part of this by tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to draw the curtain there today, and I'm going to ask one more time if you have questions before I stop recording. Okay? Do you have questions? Any questions before we go? Okay. No questions. All right. So, thanks, Michael. Thanks, Catherine. Thanks, Elizabeth Oga. Thanks, Ismaila Bioye Aderon. Thanks, Joy. Thanks, MJO. Omalade Samuel, thank you. Rebecca, thank you. Titilope Gbemi, thank you. Uchi Miriam, thank you. Okay, so I think someone dropped a message. Okay, it's an emoji, thank you. All right, see you tomorrow, guys. Same time, and I would appreciate your feedback on the group. We're going to drop a feedback form, and I would appreciate your feedback. Do have a great evening. Bye-bye. You can drop off the call. I would wait for you to do that.